Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and assorted people of the internet. I am James Phoenix, and this is Pez of the Mind. And this is episode 5 of our hit radio play, Disney Heroes. That's right.
Yay.
Do us a favour, Wikipedia the word hit.
Anyway, joining me, of course, is my co-creator of this lovely radio play, Chris the Mole.
You already know my name. Hello, people.
Very much. And the best one, Richter Hammer.
Hello.
Alright.
Best one.
Pretty much. Marcus Shadow could not make it this week, so he will not be appearing.
Because he became too famous. And then he just sort of sucked himself up into a vortex, like the house on The Simpsons.
He collapsed upon himself.
True story.
I always assumed it would be like that scene in Time Cop when the guy touches himself from the past and he like melts together. That's what I kind of pictured it'd be like if Marcus got too famous.
Yes. If he ever became too famous, he's going to be in that film where he had to go back in time to assassinate his younger self.
Looper.
Looper.
Thank you.
Why? We need to do that as like an actual movie.
Well, he goes back in time to kill people before they're famous.
No, he goes back to kill himself because he gets famous.
Yes. That would be amazing.
Actually, Looper, I think the older self was sent back so the younger self could kill him, but yeah.
But when in ironic sense, when he kills himself, the way he does it is so violent and bloody that he becomes super famous.
Dun dun dun.
Thus ain't no grave.
And hold my body down. Okay. That's enough
Disney.
of that. That's enough of that before we get a copyright strike. Anyway. Yes, this is episode 5. And if you haven't checked out the previous 4 episodes, we'll give them a shot, and we hope you enjoy. Okay. We open on the Musketeer headquarters beneath Cinderella Castle. The place seems to be relatively empty. The normally occupied consoles are empty, and there's an eerie quiet throughout the base. Jacob and Alfred arrive, having been summoned by Noah for a meeting.
This was where the meeting was, right?
I think so. Are we the first ones here?
I guess?
Huh. Do you want to grab a beer?
David kind of fumbles around. No, that's okay. Maybe that's where they all went. This is kind of weird.
Maybe they're helping the crazy guy who tried to kill us last week?
Possibly?
I mean, that type of stuff can mess with your head. You got to get your head back into the game.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Just after the weird stuff last time, I'm kind of uneasy about this. I hope it's actually Noah that summoned us. David begins to look around the chairs and consoles.
Noah!
Oh, good, you're here.
Ah!
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to startle you. Yeah, you might have noticed. Yeah, I'll explain. Come with me. Noah leads the two back out the entrance and up into the Cinderella Castle dining room. They slip out of the castle and head toward the main entrance of the park, toward the monorail. So, in case you're wondering where we're going, after last week's infiltration, I realized we needed to do something because we weren't even safe at our own headquarters. So, some plans that I had in the pipeline I had pushed up in the hopes that we can counteract and try to stay a step ahead of the darkness, as it were. Also, if you're wondering, don't worry, Jeff is safe. He is being looked at by the doctors, but we'll deal with that in a bit. As they exit the main gate, they head to the monorail station. I assume you gentlemen are familiar with the famous Disney World monorail that leads around the entire park to all the relevant resorts and, smaller parks within the park, as it were.
Yeah, as long as the track doesn't break or bend.
Yeah, look, this seems pretty cool.
Indeed. The three board the monorail, and it begins heading toward the next stop on the train. Well, on the next stop on the train route, which takes the group near the Disney's Contemporary Resort and the Bay Lake Tower, which sit to the east of the Magic Kingdom. So, this is one of the resorts here at the park. I don't know if you've been here. The Disney's Contemporary Resort, actually. It's the closest to the Magic Kingdom, and generally people who are focusing their vacations on the Magic Kingdom often stay here. The reason I've brought you, however, is, well, let me ask, have either of you gentlemen ever heard of Discovery Island?
No.
Yes, sir.
Good, well, I'll explain anyway for David's benefit. If you take a look out there, as they head forward past the resort, they end up down near a dock leading out into a large body of water. Often the distance in the body of water is an island. That is Discovery Island, or at least the original Discovery Island. You might be more familiar with the current incarnation of Discovery Island located in the center of the Animal Kingdom. You might remember us passing by it when we were dealing with that Clayton Shere Khan situation.
I remember that.
Yeah, David scratches the back of his head. A little preoccupied, but I think I kind of remember it.
Indeed.
Oh, you should have been there. It was hilarious. I got shot.
I remember that part.
Luckily, no major arteries.
Yes, luckily luckily you recovered. At any rate, the original Discovery Island was its own part of the park for many, many years. Unfortunately, after a few situations that occurred, the park had to close Discovery Island down, and it's remained abandoned for almost 30 years now. There are many legends and lores about why we closed the park and all these other such things. It's a fun pastime for some people to, determine things about the island. But well, one of the reasons it was closed down was to allow for this project that's been, well, I shouldn't say the reason it was closed down, but its closure was convenient for this project that was put into place. Of course, the Musketeer Guardians in some incarnation have been here protecting the vault and being prepared to deal with the darkness should the need arise ever since Walt Disney had the park commissioned. However, it was determined that a backup location might be more suitable, and when Discovery Island was closed down, given how much available and abandoned space there was, it seemed ideal.
Oh, backup secret base.
Precisely, and given the size of Discovery Island, it gives us a rather large amount of privacy from the remainder of the park, as you might imagine. And being abandoned, we don't have too much worry in regards to security and the other forces going there, as no one is really intended to be there.
Wait, this is our backup base? Why is our backup base more secure than our regular base? It's like when you're out there on the field, you never play your worst players, you play your best players. You only play the worst players if you absolutely have to.
Well, its security is mostly based only on its location. Being surrounded by water obviously makes it a little more difficult for attacks. At the same time, it's a much larger space, so we've been trying to develop it and put in the latest technology. At the old base, we had to work with what had already been set up over the years, and while we did update to the best of our ability, there was limits to what we could do with the confined space and what had been left for after the original construction. Whereas being wide open, the island, it's rather ironic. If I were to make a comparison, I would say that our original base under the castle is much like Disneyland. Walt's original creation. It was an amazing park and one that, you know, everyone loves to this day, but there were limitations in terms of size, scope, and the ability to do things there. That's why when Walt expanded his dream and his desire to protect the world from the darkness and began buying up land here in Florida for this park, he was always known to say that here in Florida we have the gift of space, enough space for all the dreams that we could ever have.
Plus, I imagine it'd be easier to sneak into the original base. A little bit harder to, row across this or whatever we'd have to do.
Right, it's much more easier to see people coming and going to know what's going on here. Other than the occasional conspiracy theorist who sneaks out there to try to prove that, who knows what happened, close the island, it's left alone by almost everyone.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that sounds like a plan.
Indeed. Originally, it was actually known as Treasure Island, after the tale of the same name. Back in the early 70s when it first opened, but its name was changed later on.
Is that based on the Muppets book?
Sure, let's go with that. Anyway, there were quite a variety of different things attractions that existed here, mostly based around, obviously, island sailing type themes like that, including many of the animals that were seen here until we moved them into the animal kingdom over there. Some of the more island ones, pelicans, flamingos, a lot of island birds and whatnot.
Okay.
As the group continues on, they arrive at the end. They arrive at the end of the dock. So, as you can see, being an island, the only way to get there is by boat, and I had one commissioned for the purpose. A decent-sized ship sits before them. Obviously, it's only a lake, so we didn't need something too extravagant, but something enough that it would seem of importance and wouldn't be interfered with.
Is it the Black Pearl?
Not exactly. The Black Pearl would draw the eye of everyone who happened to be standing anywhere on the beach. It would be a bit conspicuous, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you're right. That was the only name of a boat I remembered, so I figured I would give it a shot. Never mind. Okay, we can go now.
It was a good guess. No, and this is a more modern vessel, one that we use to ferry people up and down the beach from the one resort to another. The downtown Disneyland USA area is just to the south of the island there, so we often ferry up and down the beach for running supplies and personnel. The group boards the boat, and the boat sets off on its way toward Discovery Island. The captain and the few crew members needed to run this boat are aware of our operation and will ensure that only proper personnel are escorted to the island as needed.
That makes sense.
We've relocated most of the personnel from the original base here. A team will be assigned to dismantle what remains of the old base, or what can be dismantled anyway, moving computers, other technology that we can use, things like that. Of course, we have a full setup already there, but it doesn't hurt to have extras. And then we will seal off the lower area of the castle, and unless it becomes useful someday, possibly even for a public attraction, who knows, it'll just be a basement.
Oh, seems
Maybe
a shame to do
Pixar.
that.
Yeah, maybe Pixar do a film based on a basement.
Basement story?
See? Multi-million-dollar idea.
Interesting.
Can we write some films?
Well, you're certainly welcome to submit ideas. Unfortunately, the filmmaking process is a little outside of my purview, but I can certainly pass them on to the right people.
I will keep that in mind.
Basement story. That'll be awesome.
Indeed. As the ship continues on its way toward Discovery Island, there is suddenly a loud clanging into the side of the boat as it shakes. Ah! What was that?
Ah,
That wasn't supposed to happen. Several more clangs hit the side of the boat. Ah!
ah.
It's a good thing
Are
we
you,
had the.
sh- are you sure you know how to drive this?
I'm not driving the boat. The captain is. It's a staffed ship. Do I look like do I look like a seaman? I don't know how to drive a boat.
Seaman.
I knew you were going to make that joke, but at any rate, let's be more concerned about whatever's hitting the boat. It's a good thing we had the sides of this thing reinforced.
I hope it's not a shark.
No, I don't think a shark would be able to deliver that. I mean, a shark would certainly have a bit of force, but I don't think that much force.
I don't know, but if it's like an evil shark, maybe.
Do we have any movies with shark villains?
Well, I don't know if they count as villains, but there's like Bruce from Finding Nemo. I don't know if he counts as a villain, but I don't know what the
True.
darkness goes with.
That's true. Wait, is that? I think I see another. That looks like another ship. What? There shouldn't be anybody else out on the lake.
Is that the B squad?
I don't think so. I didn't. They should be on. They should be somewhere on the island, but I don't see a reason for them to be out on the lake. We were supposed to be the only ones crossing. We maintain its schedule to ensure that any unwanted surprises don't make their way over.
You don't think it's one of those explorers trying to sneak onto the island to prove their theories, do you?
Now, normally they'd get themselves, a rowboat or maybe a small speedboat if they were lucky. That looks too large.
Huh. He leans over and looks closely. I think that's a pirate ship,
What?
he says. As he says it, a cannonball flies through the air and lands on the deck.
Duh!
Oh boy.
Pirates, great.
Definitely a pirate ship.
Yeah, those cannonballs certainly aren't on any of our ships.
Wait, we don't have weapons?
Well, we didn't expect the random ships to be attacked. Like I said, this is we reinforced it and staffed it with our crew, but it's still just a regular resort level ship. It's not a battleship.
Okay. We should probably transform?
Yeah, that's the only weapons we got right now. Yeah, well, if we're going ship to ship, I might recommend something with flight.
Good call.
Yep. I can do that, he says as he turns the dial on his watch, transforming into white and green armor that looks very similar to a toy from Toy Story.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Just don't take my helmet off or I can't breathe. That wasn't a thing.
Fair enough.
All right, let's see what I can do. David turns his watch and activates it. He then gets his red armor of Baymax along with the wings on his back. This will allow me to fly pretty easily.
Indeed, and I'd imagine Baymax's structure might be a little more resistant to projectiles, too.
I'm hoping not to find out, but
I would hope so. Well, if we're dealing with pirates, luckily I know someone who's an expert in the area. Noah pops his watch, spins it, jams it down, and appears in the green overshirt and tights, a feathered cap on his head.
You're Robin Hood.
Actually, someone else has a Robin Hood form, if I recall. But no, this is, of course, Peter Pan.
I do. That's why I thought you might have it, because it's super awesome.
It is awesome, but it is not mine, sadly. The watches did not choose that one for me.
Peter
Anyway,
Pan's good.
Anyway, I suggest we go investigate the pirates and be careful. They've obviously got cannons, and if they got cannons, they probably have other weaponry. Hopefully all dated and accurate to piracy, in which case we should have an advantage given your technological outputs, the both of you.
Okay. So we go ship to ship.
Sounds like a plan. Hang on a minute. Noah steps forward on the boat. Captain, steer us toward that other ship. Try to avoid the cannon fire. Understood, the captain yells back. He begins turning the ship and aiming toward the enemy ship that has continued firing, some of the shots missing, but a couple striking the side of the boat. All right, let's go see what's up about this. Noah takes off into the air and heads toward the other ship, the other two following.
It's time to forward style.
Indeed. That is one of our best movies.
On board the other ship, as they're getting closer, they can see a man dressed in red with a hook for a hand. I'll sink the lot of you, he says as he fires his cannons and trying to shoot the targets as they fly through the air.
Whoa! Noah bobs and weaves, dodging cannon fire. Well, I guess I picked the right form for this.
Did he try and shoot us?
It seems like it.
I don't see what else he'd try to shoot at this point.
Does he know we're people?
I don't think he cares.
No, probably not. If I recall correctly, Captain Hook was never the brightest crayon in the box in terms of villains.
I still don't think I'd tell him that to his face.
No, obviously not.
Sticks out his hand and fires a laser at the flag of the rival ship, trying to catch it on fire to distract the captain. My flag!
I think you made him angry.
We should probably land and take out those cannons if we can.
Yeah, otherwise the captain's ship might not make it back to shore. We don't need our crew stranded in the middle of the lake.
Good idea. That was me landing.
David flies down toward the ship and, slightly unsteady in the air, disengages the rockets and lands down on the deck. Ooh.
All right. Let's see. Anybody know how to disable maritime cannons?
I assume this works. David runs over to one and begins to pick it up to try and tip it over the side.
Yeah, that should work.
Good idea. He says, as Jacob in his Buzz Lightyear outfit fires a laser at another one to put a hole in the side of it.
Good idea. Without the pressure in the gunpowder chamber, it won't be able to fire. Noah swings around and, using his flight momentum, manages to push another cannon over the side.
David finishes dumping the cannon off the side into the water. This is kind of fun.
My cannons!
Oh, right.
Noah unsheaths his sword. All right, you old codfish. Let's see what you've got.
Captain Hook removes his sword and grins at him. You be no pizza, lad.
Maybe not, but I can fly. He flies in the air, spins around, and lands in front of the captain as they begin to duel. Ching, 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 ching. You guys get rid of the rest of the cannons. I want to keep him distracted.
On it,
You
boss.
got it.
He says as he flies to try and take out some more cannons with his lasers. Pichoo! Pichoo! Pichoo!
Noah continues bobbing and weaving. The captain begins swinging his hook and manages to catch part of Noah's arm, tearing his costume and drawing a slight amount of blood. Ah! Okay, gotta be careful of that thing. He continues bobbing and darting and dueling the captain.
See, I told you, you be no pan, laddie. He says as he continues to swing.
I can't argue with that. I'm a little old for a pan, but not old at heart. He slides down between the captain's leg, popping up on the other side and kicking him in the behind, knocking him into a wall, then pulling back into the air. Ha ha!
When I'll just have to rip your heart out, laddie, and show it to you.
Yeah, laddie, I gotta ask you, was Captain Hook supposed to be Irish? Because if he was, I definitely missed that in the movie.
Was Peter Pan supposed to be old?
Touche. How you guys doing on those cannons?
David
Okay.
flips another one off the side. Doing pretty good, boss.
Yep, you're doing alright.
Well, hurry it up. I don't know how long I can hold this guy off.
Hook pulls his sword away and pulls out a small musket, firing it at Pan's leg.
The bullet clips his leg, knocking him over. Don't break the gun to a sword fight! Noah pulls himself back up.
Who brings what looks like a space ranger and some dude in armor to a pirate fight?
I'll give you one, Captain. You're clever. Luckily, I don't need the leg. He pulls himself back into the air and resumes fighting. Swinging around the captain and dodging bullet shots from his musket.
Hook swings violently but just can't hit him.
Well, anybody got any ideas?
I got one, Jacob says as he fires his laser. Pew! As he does, Hook quickly deflects it with his sword, knocking it away. Okay, I'm out of ideas.
I didn't think you could do that. That was actually impressive.
Fine. David thrusts his fist forward and launches off the rocket punch at Captain Hook. Try to deflect this one.
Okay. Oh, he says as he gets knocked over, landing on his back. Ugh.
The fist loops around and reattaches back to David. Wow, that worked.
No, you won't stop me getting my treasure.
Treasure? Of course, he thinks it's actually Treasure Island. He thinks there's actual treasure out there. That's why he's been sailing around.
What's funnier is you think there's not treasure. Hook says as he tries to stand up. Ugh.
Noah, if he wants treasure, give him the box.
Something occurs to me. Noah says, looking over Hook's shoulder. If he's here fighting us, who's steering the ship?
Well, that's easy. That'd be... Oh, crap.
They all turn around and realize the ship is about to strike ground on the island. Uh-oh, bail!
Oh shit! Jacob says as he jumps to the air, stretching his wings out once more.
David
Noah,
jumps in the
Noah
air.
takes off after him.
David jumps up and activates his rockets, narrowly hitting the mast of the ship as he steers to get clear of it. Ah,
Ah,
Hook jumps too, but it's too late as the boat hits onto the land. Hook lands on the beach, falling over in a heap. I was so close.
but not quite close enough. Noah adjusts his watch, summoning the trap box, throwing it next to Hook as it pulls him inside.
No! Hook says as he ends up inside the box. As Hook ends up inside the box and as it closes, Jacob screams, "No! What if there was actually treasure?"
If there were treasure, I would think we would know.
I didn't know there was a secondary base. I didn't know there was another pirate ship.
You don't know. It's not your job to know. It's my job to know, and I know. If there was treasure on this island, given all we've done to prep it for this, I would assume we would have found it.
and I don't even think we'd get to keep it. Sorry, man.
Oh, man. I don't get paid shit for this. I miss my contracts. Jacob
Oh.
says as he sits down on a rock.
Would you like a hug? That can make you feel better.
You know, I think I would. He says as he hugs the Bayamax.
Fuzzy baby.
Well, that was an adventure I didn't necessarily intend us to have.
Are there ones you intend us to have?
Well, valid point.
As they stand on the island talking, a tick, 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 tick can be heard. I think we should probably leave this place. If I'm right, wouldn't that be the crocodile?
Oh. Yeah.
He was probably chasing Hook, which we've now trapped, so I'm guessing he won't like us very much.
That is a valid point. He tends to have a taste for human hands. We should skedaddle.
Up and away!
The group flies up and heads further inland on the island. All right.
That was fun.
Indeed. So,
I like pirates.
I suppose I should welcome you to our new base, as it were.
Alright, second base.
Something like that.
Is Jeff inside the new base or the old one? Because we should probably go get him.
He's been transferred to the medical wing of the new base in order to continue his evaluation after his run-in with Frollo. We want to make sure there's no lingering side effects.
Makes sense. I'm guessing that guy probably corrupted the whole place. You can never be sure. Villains tend to have a plan B.
That's true.
That is very true. You have to be careful with some of these villains.
Well, it does seem a little weird who's after us. Some of their plans, it doesn't seem like Jafar's normal MO.
No, I would have to imagine that at least some of these demons might be operating on their own. I mean, with Hook screaming about treasure, I can't imagine Jafar sending him after treasure for no reason, as much as he did love his Cave of Wonders.
No, that seems like something someone would say to get Hook to do what they wanted. Is it possible Jafar has a boss?
Well, anything's possible. With these demons, who knows? It's really hard to predict what forms they might take. The group arrives at the entrance to the new base. Even with the island abandoned, we felt it best to keep things hidden to the best of our ability.
Makes sense.
Indeed. They enter the area near the Eagle's Watch in the center of the island. Unfortunately, as you might have noticed, most of this island is outdoor attraction, lots of docks and places of viewing the animals that were here. So there are not a lot of buildings, so we had to improvise, but we figured this would work. He walks around back of the nearby building containing restrooms to where there seems to be a plain wall. Noah presses his hand against a portion of it, and it is suddenly scanned, seemingly out of nowhere. The back of the building opens to reveal a stairway down. We technically hollowed this entire building out. It used to be bathrooms, but it looks good to the facade in case those aforementioned conspiracy theorists show up.
This also seems like a great location because, based on where we are, our forms we're in now can easily fly out. And when it comes time for when Jeff's healed, I can imagine Simba could get across those trees pretty fast. So we have options.
Indeed, if in the event that we had to deal with anything here, there's quite a lot of combat possibilities, so it's a strategic advantage in that manner. The group heads down into the base, into the new HQ, where the people are still working on setting up computers, and some are already continuing the scans for demon activity. They notice on the side of the room, sitting near one of the machines, is Jeff. Oh, Jeff, I didn't think the dogs would let you out so soon. How you feeling?
Jeff spins around in his chair and smirks. Well, I am one of the best computer programmers you guys have got on staff. Besides, they checked me out. I'm good. So, what'd I miss?
Not much. Sailed everyone over. Got attacked by Captain Hook on the Jolly Roger. The usual.
I got to hug him.
Yeah, they had an emotional moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we were throwing cannons overboard, and there was a sword fight. It was, pretty interesting, actually.
James Hook. Wish I'd have been there for that.
It was quite interesting.
It was, although he didn't quite seem like the Captain Hook we know. Are the demons evolving?
It's possible. Their baseline would still be our films, but depending on their power levels, it's easy to imagine they could extrapolate something new. I mean, even Frollo from last week, there was that scene where he had the fire coming out of the fireplace, but it was inferred that was mostly just something in his mind. It wasn't actually happening, so his ability to control the fire is certainly differentiating from his character. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were changing slowly but surely.
Seems like, though, that's even stronger than he should be. They're not going to be weaker than we think they should be, are they?
I would doubt it.
Oh.
I'd hope so, but no.
Well, at any rate, we have most of the same amenities here as we did at the previous base, but with the advantage of additional space, we don't have to worry about connecting to the underground tunnels. Don't run under the lake, obviously, but we don't have to worry about the possibility of being found from any given direction or sneaking around the crowds in the park. We've been lucky that most of the attacks thus far have been in off hours or when the park is closed, but who knows how long that would have lasted. So, in a way, Frollo infiltrating us and pushing up these plans is actually to our benefit.
Does this place have a gym?
Yes, it has a workout area, yes.
Perfect.
Yes, we tried to put all possible amenities that might be needed in here for both ourselves and the workers. Obviously, being the frustrations of coming to and from the island, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't too much need to constantly leave and return, except for when people go home, obviously. So, let me give you guys the grand tour. As Noah says this, he leads his comrades down the hallway to show off their new headquarters in preparation for the next adventure. Okay, and there we have it.
Okay.
And thank you, Marcus Shadow, for joining us for the last scene. Your timing is impeccable.
You're welcome.
Also, I'm going to say that was the worst Captain Hook I've ever heard.
Wow.
It was.
At least he knows it. Fair enough.
It was, but it's not like any of our other villains have been spot on.
This is true, and it's still not going to be as bad as my Ursula when we get down to that.
I don't know, you do sound
Really?
like Ursula.
I don't know. Simon said that Jim's Shere Khan was pretty damn good.
Oh, thank you. I will thank him for that comment later. At any rate, this has been episode 5. Stay tuned next week for episode 6. We'll see you next time.